Are we live? Oh, we're live! Yay! Oh, wait, so why would you move it as soon as it... Seriously? Oh gosh, look at the light. I feel like I'm on... Oh God, there you go. Hello everyone, welcome. We're having a little technical difficulty here. We tried, like true God, I'm going to muck up with it now. We tried the iPad, and then we also tried the computer. And besides trying to get in with a password that just didn't want to play, and then Facebook deciding that I needed some kind of software, which is just shit. It just wasn't cool. Oh, look, we should tag friends. We should tag you.
Tag me.
Okay, how does that? Just tag friends. Okay, just hang on 1 second. Hello. Oh. Where are you? Are you here? Oh, there you are. Look, Aldine's active. Tag friend. Tagged. Okay, how do I get rid of? See, now it's not. It's gone. Oh, there? Oh, I've broken it. Oh, there we go. Oh, this is so, like, this is so... Oh, so how do you see comments? So we've got the phone up. We've got it on the phone. We can't even see comments. So hello to the people who are on. We can't even see you. I just did that. That brings up the thing. See, that's not the comments thing. We are so new to this. No, press finish.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't come up. You press? Oh, see, he's pressing buttons all the time. So we can't see any comments. But hello to whoever is there. We're really going. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? We're really going to learn how to do this properly. As you can tell, this is our second one. So we're going to get a whole lot better at it. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to see comments, which would be great. Until then, we'll just continue to go along, and thanks for watching.
Catherine, if you're watching, can you give us a hi? There we go.
Can you see this comment? Yes, Catherine, I can. That's where the comments come up. Oh, we love you dearly. Thank you for that. We're just like...
so much.
We don't do this very often. Miss Karen, hello. How are you? Karen hasn't seen you since you were like 3.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
So it's just... so great. So one of the things that we were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. And we were thinking about talking about how you make decisions. Like hello Miss Mel, how are you? Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. Very excited. We were thinking about figuring out how you make a decision. So when you think about, and Eldon being a younger person, how you decide, like how do you actually make a decision? Like how do you get to that place where you go, and being a boy as well, or a man I should say, are your thought processes different to how you get to a decision, or are you just one of those impulsive people that just go, meh, I'm just going to do it?
It's a bit of both. It all
Right.
depends on what the specific outcome is. If I need to think logical, then I'll try and do the process of steps, break it down into what I need to do next, which will then set me up for 3 paces down the line. But if I'm just out for a thrill, most of the time I just go, yeah, well, why not? Just roll the dice, and then we'll make it up as we go along from there.
Right, okay. Do you think that that's something, because Eldine's been in the army, defending the country. Hello, Miss Ashley.
Hey, Miss Ashley.
Do you think that helped you?
That is a great topic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Do you think that helped you? Hello, Miss Lenore. How are you? Love you. Do you think that being in the army helped you to be able to make decisions quicker, faster, thinking 3 steps ahead, or do you think that completely ruined your thought process, and now you're just so indoctrinated with the way that you think that you can't think any other way?
No, it definitely did help with me making decisions, and then how that fits into a team dynamic. Hello. Hey, Jeffrey, which way? Yeah, but if it's just me, myself, making a decision, I guess is fine. Whereas if it's me in the bigger picture...
Miss Lizzie, hello.
Hey,
Loving
Lizzie.
you. Mel, I love that you're watching with your son. This is G-rated, so you don't have to worry about any of that because we're like we are like the G. We are like the G hood. We are like and not gangster either.
Nothing like that.
We could be gangster.
It could be, but we're not.
Okay.
We're definitely not those people.
Well, we could become gangster.
We're not. So go back to the question. About decisions?
So, about decisions, because you've been in the army, and so they teach you, hello, Miss Laura, they teach you, like, how to think, and you have to think in a certain way, whereas now you're out, and so do you think that your thought processes have still, hi, Mim, how you doing? Hey, Joe, how you doing? Do you think that your thought processes has lapsed a bit, or do you still find yourself thinking through the way things are done, and particularly as well, I'm interested because you said we had a conversation about being at Costco.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to cover that topic as well.
Hello,
Miss Mel, how are you? Miss Cheryl, hello, love you, Steely.
Howdy.
See, like it. Oh, there we go. Mate, this is so stressful.
It is.
I have to tell you, we're just like not very good at this.
But going back to what you said, though,
We'll figure it
out. We'll figure it out on the fly.
Okay.
We'll just go with it.
Go with it.
Roll with it. Yeah, you were being at Costco?
Yeah, no, see, look, you've said hello to everybody, and now I've forgotten what I was talking about. Are you, when you were talking about, hello from the US, hello, Miss Cat.
Hey, Miss
Thank
Cat.
you. Miss Christy, I love you, darling. Have you been to see your grandmother?
Chrissy,
Take the kids.
go and see your grandmother.
I love you. Hello, Miss Simone. How are you? Kristen, this is so fun. Let me tell you.
We're getting some people.
I love this. So good to see you guys. You're doing amazeballs. Love you. Loving you. Mate, what? Like this, I'm sharing the love. Okay, so in terms of being able to make decisions, because you were hard. Hey, Jade, you were having to make decisions. Hey, Georgie, how you doing? Make decisions hard out when you were in the army. Like they teach you to make a decision quickly, and they basically break you down to then build you back up to think. They also break you. They also break you down, which is a whole other different conversation. But I'm really interested in: do you think that you still make those decisions? Hello, Mr. Ollie. How are you? Do you think that you still make the decisions in exactly the same way than when you were in the army, now that you're out? Or do you think that because you're out in, dare I say, civilization with the rest of us civvies, do you think that you've just gone, bugger it, I'm not even going to worry about how they taught me?
No, it will be always ingrained, but it's just different circumstances. So if I'm going to Costco and I don't really have a plan for anything, then I'll just go and wander the shelves. But if I know that I have an appointment at, say, 3 o'clock, I'll work from 3 o'clock backwards.
I'm just this is so many stuff going on here, and I'm trying to watch comments and stuff. Hey Darren, how you doing? So I'm interested in when you were at Costco the other day, what happened with the major that you saw?
Oh yeah, I was at Woolworths and...
Was it Woolworths? I thought it was Costco.
No, we went at Costco.
Hello. That's the big fella over there. Just he thinks we're funny.
I'm fun. Thank you.
Ignore the commentary in the background. We just
Ignore that.
Not funny.
So what was the question? When I was with the major.
Yeah, with the major.
Yeah, I seen him. I was just getting stuff off the shelf, and he just walked straight in front of me, and I snapped back to when I was at Kapuka, and I think I even braced up and said sir, and it was just, I didn't even think about it, just came straight to me. So it was just brought me straight back to when I was going through all that. And
So that's why my question is, in that moment when you saw him, even though you've been out now for a couple of years, you went straight back to a muscle memory to go, I have to brace or otherwise they're going to beast me and I'll have to do marching for a very long time. So, Christine said hello. So you went back to that minute, like you just, that muscle memory was there, and so then now I'm starting to, and I was questioning whether or not that muscle memory that you have, it could be like 50 years down the track and you'll see a major and then you'll like brace as well, although you'll probably be a little bit older then, so you won't be moving as fast. But that memory is still there. So then it makes me think, have you been conditioned to think that way now permanently?
I think on some levels.
Because those of us who haven't been in the services, whether it's the military, whether it's police force, fire brigade, rescue, whatever, you're trained and trained and trained and trained to think a certain way.
Yeah.
So then when you don't be that anymore, are you still like trained to think that way so that you just like just boom, boom, boom?
In some, definitely in some aspects, if it doesn't require so much as an outcome. Hey, Ian.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
If it's a really big thing, like if I know I'm travelling away or travelling overseas, then I'll do some kind of, like I'll do a checklist, go through what I need to, make sure everything's in order, so therefore I don't lose everything or lose anything. No.
Christine Sinley said hello.
Hello, Christine.
Sit here. Christine said hello. Ollie's on too. You want to say hello?
Hey, brother boy. Thanks for the barbecue.
Thanks for the barbecue.
Go get on your own line now. Don't hijack mine. Seriously. So it'll always be there. Then I want to know, why is it you don't keep your room clean?
Me too.
Again, ignore the commentary from the background. Why? Because why is it some things and not other things? Is it a choice thing?
Yeah, it's something that I had no control in. I had to have it. See, Joe. I had no control in it, so it was.
Oh, that's your Joey.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, hi, Joey.
He's gone.
Oh, okay. Bye. I didn't know that was your Joey. You should have said.
I didn't realise until just then. But
Right. Okay.
Like it's. I go through my stages of it being a little bit messy, but I know where everything is, and.
So does that lapse?
Yeah.
Is that like you kind of giving the army the finger in that I don't actually have to keep my room clean now, so I'm not gonna?
Yeah,
is that how that goes?
Yeah, in a way, like, because it had to be spick and span, and like it. I can't definitely understand why they do it. It's necessary.
Bye, see you, Joey. I thought you'd gone. I was going to say,
sorry,
like you were. I was wondering if you were Eldine's like Joey, and it is you. And I'm so excited you were here. Thanks for watching. I'm feeling a moment. Can't I keep going?
Well, yeah, like so it's I kind of like I choose to do it, but then I relapse where I do get in like a cleaning state. I do feel a lot better, but yeah, sometimes it chops and changes, and I don't have to be so strict. I can have different days because I'm not so much in it where it requires 100% of like the possibility of my life being on the line, whereas in that life it was.
Right, oh, Tina said you are so awesome. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. What are you doing? Yeah, Peter said that's Dickadoo, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Hey, how you doing? Oh, that hurt me. So that's really interesting. Because for those of us who haven't been in the service, we've learnt to think based on our past experience, and we haven't. Well, some of us have been yelled at to get decisions and stuff made. Some of us haven't. So it's kind of like you get that. Yeah, he's awesome too. He's all right. He's okay. It's all right. Let's keep it all about me right now. So we haven't had those. Kat, yeah, so you know. So Kat says, my ex-husband has been retired for a while and he still carries some of the military bearing, more out of respect. Yeah, Eldine, I guess, the same dress standards, ironing. Iron?
Kind of. Sometimes.
Oh, hello, Miss Sandra. How are you? Loving you. Kiss that boy for me because I love him.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, we don't really iron here.
Sometimes.
Very rarely, but it's true. I guess so. It's like same sort of thing.
Let's bring it back.
You can't tell me to bring,
Let's bring it
but
back.
I'm bringing it back to that because that means that it's like a full circle, which is like what it's all about. So see how it goes. Like seriously, oh, I love you. Oh, hello, Miss Rachel. How are you? We need to talk about that bag because I need one of those. And I'm wondering if you're able to make decisions without guilt.
I haven't thought about it, but if I have a set goal in mind that needs to be done, then I have no problems in doing that.
Because what we know is, particularly for the women that I work with, who either come into the training programs that I do or into the coaching, a lot of women, and I'll say this very broadly, a lot of the women struggle to make decisions without guilt behind it. There's a decision that gets made, and then there is the mum guilt. There's a decision that gets made, and then it's like, oh, I'm putting myself first, and so all of that guilt.
But making my decision is based at whatever time. It's based on the best possible outcome for the whole team. So I'm a small cog in a big wheel.
Right.
But if I don't turn or make the correct choice, that ruins the whole wheel. So women making choices, sometimes it's going to be a hard decision that they're going to have to make, and sometimes it's going to be the wrong choice. You have to live with it. I can acknowledge it, say, yep, cool, I did it. I can't change it, so you need to roll with it. Learn what was good
Stop
from it.
clicking the pen.
Learn what was good, and then take what was bad, why was it bad, and then go from there.
Hello, Di. Kiss that boy for me. I love him.
Come see mother.
And do you still have that same? Because that was when you're in the army, so you get that. Now that you're out, do you have those same things?
To some extent, I take a lot more of how the other person would feel into account. Whereas if I was in the army, like, not that I was at a position to make any massive decisions for the team that I was in, but it was 100%, this is what I need to do, this is the out. If I work this hard, this is what I can produce. So it was, you either get on board with the train or like you need to get off because this is where it's going. You're either in or you're out. Whereas now, it's still, this is my end goal. But I take into account to some extent people's feelings and how then that can translate to me if they can help me along the way. It's more so now kind of think of it, if you can help me with something.
Tiffany, hello, how are you?
If you can help me, then by all means jump on board, but understanding that you're coming onto my train, I'm not coming onto yours.
Yeah, that's right. And because Kat says decisions have consequences.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Like all the decisions have it, whether or not, little decisions have consequences like, am I going to eat that chocolate and is it going to make my pants too tight tomorrow? All the way through to, if I don't shoot properly, then somebody could die. Like those consequences.
And that's one of the big things that a lot of defence members really struggle with coming out, is that they don't have that end goal. Whereas,
what do you mean?
Like, so once coming out there, they can do whatever they want, and that's a lot of the time. It's actually really like, from my own personal experience, giving this freedom that I've never had I didn't have for like 5 years, and it just go, here you go, have fun, run with it. Sometimes it can be too much at first. That's why you need that focus to get you towards that end goal. So those who have a plan going out do really well, so they can transition pretty smoothly, whereas those who get out, say with a medical discharge or with not really a solid plan, it's kind of takes a little bit of adjusting to really fine tune that goal again.
Deborah Wright, hello my cousin Misha. Oh, when you were getting out of the army, did they prepare you for life outside? Because you are a part of a circle, and then next minute you're just like catcher, and then you go home and you wake up the next day, and what was a part of your world like is gone. Do they kind of help you through? Then how did you handle the transition?
I struggled
Right.
really bad. And because I was out on a medical discharge. Laura King, what does Laura say?
She said, I've got to get going, but it was so good. Thanks. Tune in with this important yarn. Love you. Love you, sister.
We'll share it later. Yeah, so it was a really a struggle because I was really, for a long time, I was searching for this family, this team, and I wanted to go overseas and do my job instead of just feeling like it was just training for 5 years, but it didn't happen. So once getting out, it was kind of like, what do I do next? I was so focused for so long about really wanting to push to be the best that I could. Once you get out, it was like, well, what do I do now? Even though that the world, I could do anything in the world now, but again, that's the double-ended sword. Whereas a torch compared to a laser pointer, whereas a torch goes here and there's everything in between, whereas a laser pointer is so super focused on one point.
I'm up painting listening to you fellas. No, you're calming me. Thanks, brother. I love that. I've never had anybody say that it's calming. It's normally others. What would you recommend for someone wanting to join the army? Don't. They just, no.
Any prep research.
16-year-old helpful hints. Tell him what you told Joey.
It's different. It's if you really want it, definitely 100% go for it. It's really tough because there are some things that you just won't get anywhere else in the army, but to go in and like it be awesome and stuff, it's sometimes it really is, but yet sometimes it's really not. But unless you're ready to put your life on the line and live that lifestyle, I would say try and look for something different. But if hints and tips, be fit, be 10 times fitter than what you think you should be. Go to the role that you want. Don't try and get persuaded by friends, family, or Defence Force recruiting, because Defence Force recruiting doesn't really care. They'll just try and slot you in the best place possible because they need to fill numbers. So stand firm in what you want. Once you get in, again, you need to stand firm with what you want. Don't try and be pulled and persuaded. Go for what you want. But yeah, you need to really toss up the pros and cons. If you're just not going to get life experiences out in the Defence Force that you wouldn't see your world, and then vice versa.
Because when Son was in Kapuka, they used to have the Sunday visits, and so I would get up at 4 a.m. with a little esky packed with chocolates and muffins and everything they weren't allowed to have during the week. Yeah. And I would go out and I would visit him. I've been told to watch you, so I'm here. Oh, hello. And so I used to bring it out. So I used to come on the little bus with the little chocolates and stuff, and so I would feed him and all of his friends because that's what I did. But having an understanding that every time I went there, each time I went there, he grew a little bit more military and less my baby, but not my baby. Like, he was still the same, but he wasn't, because he started to become, and I could see each week him being, hey Rose, I could see him being indoctrinated each week because of the training. And so he just, there's something that happens when you go through that training that you can't get outside, that self-assurance, that confidence, because you do become a small part of the whole. But your part in there is really important. The other thing I would say to get really comfortable with is having somebody yell at you. Now, Ellen's father was a basketball coach, and so he was used to having him yell all the time. If you're not okay with having somebody yelling in your face for an extended period of the time, I would get used to that by having somebody you know yell at you really closely, because you need to figure out how you can go somewhere else, because you can literally end up, and I would cry or slap someone if they yelled at me, but I like either of those are okay. You need to get okay with the fact that they're going to yell at you, and you're probably going to have to march lines or clean something or like whatever. And so if you're precious about that going in, you're going to struggle, because they just yell at you a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody gets yelled at.
It just you need to play the game. What's the game? The game is to break you down, to rebuild you. So if you stay ahead of the game, then you're winning. Know that they're there for a job too, and they're there for a small limited amount of times. So then once you get to your unit, and if they're in the same corps as you, then that's just like that's their job. They're only there for a small time to get you up into shape, and then off to your unit. So it's nothing to take personal.
It depends on the person. The military will either make or break you. Absolutely. And there are a whole lot of people. Hi, Monica. There are a whole lot of people who... got to put my grandson to bed. Love you. There's a whole lot of people who get in there and they actually don't like it. Yeah. And so they go, I'm out. Like, tapping out. I'm done. I can't handle this. Other people go in and are just like flowers. And Son was one of those, like, he was just like, I've lived my life for this, because for him, his idea was that he was wanting to defend this country because there were ancestors who defended this country when they weren't even recognised. And so that was his point, to be able to go in and defend the country now while he's able to be recognised, and that family and the commitment that goes into that. The other part of that as well is that going through basic training, it don't matter what level you are. Everyone has been through basic training. So everybody has been yelled at. Now is probably a better time. Hello, Miss Vicky. Now is a better time probably to go through it, because back, like old school, they used to do some really not okay things.
Everything's pretty PC now.
Whereas now they can't do things like they used to. But everybody has been through the suffering of basic training. And so... everybody is in that. Hello, Miss Anthea, how are you? Hello, Miss Deb, how you doing? Loving you. So everybody has that connection. It's like it doesn't matter where you go, everybody knows, I've been in that hurt locker. And you'll also come out with sayings like hurt locker that will just continue for the rest of your life. So there are good parts to it. What was some of the good stuff that happened? What were some of the good parts of it?
Some of the good parts is that super fit. Was just like doing things that I was just never been able to do before. It was, at times, the camaraderie was on point. Going through pain with other people just bonds you together, whether you like them or not. You've gone through that pain with someone else, and they'll continue to recognise, and so will you, that hey, we went through that together. So you just want to look back. No, so yeah, that was some of the so there's heaps of stuff that I went through, but kind of draw a blank on that.
Right. Okay. What else? What were some of the challenges?
Being on the outside a little bit, because I didn't drink so much. Everyone would go out drinking on a Friday or a Saturday.
Thanks, Monica.
And I just wasn't one of those guys. I didn't really like to drink. I went through my partying stage. Why did I leave? Stay on, and I'll tell you just in a sec. So they'd always go out, the majority of the time, go out drinking, and as soon as they got back from a field trip, they'd look to go out. So I didn't really drink. I kind of was just on the outside. I didn't really know like where I fit in, and I could talk to a lot of people, and after a while it kind of got to me to try and find where I fit in. I didn't really fit in at uni because everyone was drinking. It's one of the cultures of the army is that everyone can drink, and I just wasn't about that life. But I was medically discharged in 2017, I want to say.
That's helpful. Son won't listen to me. I don't want him to join. He's going to do what he wants. I know. Why
It's
don't
true.
boys listen? I don't know why they don't listen. Boys, listen to your mothers.
Helpful to know.
Miss Vanessa Ring, hello, how are you?
Helpful to know.
You didn't return my call the other day either. Not that I'm bitter, but you know. Answer my call. What have you done?
Yeah, but yeah, there was heaps of good things, heaps of bad things, but you just roll with it, and after a while, I found out that it just really wasn't for me. I gave so much to so many people while I was in there, and I kind of lost who I was.
Because you kind of do. When you think about it, you go in, you sound bitter.
No,
Who,
not
me?
at all.
Or son?
Yeah,
I'm bitter
which
because you
one?
didn't return my call, but that's a whole other thing. Like I'm bitter. Don't mean sound ill-informed, but sorry. Where are you guys located? Glenda, we're in Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra.
I love you too, Miss Vanessa. I love you. We're in Canberra. We probably should start with that. Hi, I'm Karen. This is Aldine. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, a little bit late.
Yeah. You know, we've only been talking now for like half an hour, but you know, that's it. I heard it's extremely racist.
I'm not gonna lie, it does have its moments. There have been some times where it's got a little bit heated and there's been some racial profiling, but I have a pretty tough skin and I spoke my mind on it, and like they knew it was like from there they knew it was an issue, so they didn't do that again, and then so we just went a different route. Like I said before, coming back to you make a wrong decision, you live with it and you move on. So they did the same thing. They made a wrong decision, wrong play, pulled them up on it. It was like, it's not alright. And from there, it was, we went on about it, and you just, both sides learn from that experience.
And I guess the thing that's really interesting about it is that going, and hello, Miss Georgie, I love you, you are amazing. Glenda, that's okay. We didn't even talk about where we are, who we are, where we're situated. Like, we just kind of rolled with it, and we probably need to get a better introduction. We'll get that once we figure out actually how to fix the thing up so that we can find comments and stuff. But the thing to remember about it as well is that you are going to go into a place where you're likely to be a minority.
Yeah.
If you're in a minority, so if you're Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, even female is a minority in there.
Hey,
hello,
Daddy.
brother. How you doing? So you're going to be a minority within the greater whole, and you need to be aware of that as well. And what can happen a lot of times, and I wasn't in there, so I don't even know, but I just know as a female, being a minority, it can be very easy to, once you have something happen, to then be heightened to go, when is it going to happen again? And so being mindful that that doesn't happen to the point where you're no longer being a part of the group, the team, the unit, the little battalion thingo that you belong to, you're almost waiting for the thing to happen, and so that can that can be that can be a really huge thing, because once you look for it, you're always going to find what you look for. And so if it happens to you, getting a resolution as quickly as you can, so that you don't then end up going, well, when's the next thing going to happen? And then the next thing happens, and then you're like, when's the next thing? And then if that next thing happens, I'm going to punch someone, and then I'm going to get charged, and then they're going to kick me out, and all of that sort of stuff. And so, oh my God, we had an angry face.
Did we?
Yeah, somebody had an angry face at us. Oh, don't be angry. Love you.
Let us know why in the comments.
And so, that sort of stuff can happen. So just be aware of that. But it can be, hello, Miss Carly. So just be aware that can sometimes happen. And if you look for that, you will find it. Or, see you, Miss Christine. It was great having you here with us. Appreciate you. Love you. enjoy dinner. It's way later. Oh, you're in Perth. That's right. So it would be heaps later. I was thinking you're having dinner late, but it's not late over there. So just be mindful of that can end up getting you on a really, on a loop that you can find it challenging to get out of. Because people are going to say stupid things. Like, they're like, some of them are just little boys running around with guns. Like, the mentality of it is that some of them haven't grown up. Some of them have, which is fantastic, but some of them really are.
Some of them have grown up. Hey, Shelley.
Hey, Shelley.
Some have grown up in that lifestyle as well, so...
That's exactly right. You know, so they have military dads and stuff.
Yeah.
Son was the first one to go into the military in our family, and so he set that trajectory now for anybody else in the family that might want to do that. But that was the first. So we had no idea about what military life was like.
Yeah.
You know, so, hello, Miss Bell, how are you? So, you know, we didn't know what that was. That was the first one. And so it's kind of like me studying as well. That's the first one that's happened that way. So there's those different choices. We're kind of like a groundbreaking family now, because you did that thing over there. I'm doing this thing over here. Like we're like a little bit of a trailblazing family. Like, man, you have like psh, but you need to do the psh, sound effects. Psh. Oh, it's hard to find good help around here, I tell you. Gosh. So yeah, I guess having that understanding that you're either going to go in there, and you can go in and have make the experience what you want it to be, but being aware of what that's likely to be like, and have an understanding that if you haven't healed your stuff before you go in there, they're going to heighten that, and they're going to bring it out, and they're going to shine a light on it, and they're going to bring your thing that triggers you out within the first 4.5 minutes. Let me tell you. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. They're, especially for Kapuka, they're like vultures. They need to be. They see something that could be detrimental to in you for your unit or something, and then they'll go in on that and try and break you down, remove it, and fill it with something different, something better that can benefit you as well as the team, because essentially your life could be on the line, and if you don't heal from it, or that's a really big problem, then it may not be your life it could be your life on the line, but the direct result could be that you lose the life of a team member, which is way worse than you losing your life. I would much rather me lose a life than my teammate because of something that I did. So that's something you need to heal from for sure.
Miss Karina wants to ask a question. Karina, ask the question. Okay, ask the question.
Ask the question, just put it up straight up. I don't need to ask about it.
Rachel, I think that if he wants to go in, there's something that happens when, it's kind of like, there's something that happens to you when you leave the country. When you leave Australia, something shifts in you that you can't get if you even travel and you leave the state. Something just happens when you leave this country, and you appreciate how great this country is. But something happens to you. It's exactly the same. Something happens to you when you go into the military that you can't have happen if you're not in there, because it is that camaraderie. You get like pushed.
That. It's like the first time you experienced chocolate. You didn't know what chocolate was, but as soon as you had chocolate, it just opened up this whole world, and you realised that you could never go a day without chocolate again. That's what happens.
Jax, I love you. Yeah, exactly right. So Carly's partner is, it's high stakes in the military that most of us have no idea about. We're so grateful for your service.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And that was the whole thing. We had the conversation about if he went to war, he was willing to sacrifice himself because of the greater and as a parent, I'm just like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But understanding that was what he was aware of going in, that was a decision that would make. And Aldine was the type of soldier, if there was gunfire, he would run towards the gunfire to save somebody. Like me, I would probably like hide and be like, no, can I direct somebody, right? Whereas he would be like, no,
Jax,
that's it.
I want chocolate too, Jax.
Oh, don't talk about chocolate because you make me hungry. Hello, Miss Beck, how are you? So he would be the type of soldier who would run into gunfire as opposed to hiding. I would be hiding. I would rather be, true God, I would rather be a live coward than a dead hero. Just saying. Like, whereas son was one of the, like those people who, if somebody was hurt in gunfight, he would run in to save them. Like, that's what he would do. And so there is that understanding that there is always a possibility that might happen. And you don't ever, I don't think, get okay with that. But it's having that understanding that that's part of the... How's things these days, Eldon Demery?
Yeah, things are alright. Things are back on a track. Obviously, as you know, my cousin, ups and downs, mental health is definitely a big issue. So going through ups and downs, ins and outs, trying to find a route that suits me and my skills. I don't know if I've found it yet, studying, but I will definitely give that a shot and see where that goes. If it's for me, awesome, then I'll keep doing it. If not, that's awesome too. Then I can just...
Miss Lyndall, hello. What are you studying?
So I'm doing Cert 4 in alcohol and other drugs. So if that's not for me, then like before I was like, my world would just end. Like, oh my God, I need to find something. Where now it's, I'm still young and I can still find ways, different paths of getting to my end goal, which I don't even know is yet. So I'm still young enough to not have one, but once I do... You're
shaking the camera. Can you put the thing there?
Oh,
it's shaking. Don't be shaking it. It'll make them seasick. And that's the thing. I did a post the other night about making a decision and then doing something else and then making a decision.
Yeah.
And so you kind of don't stick to something and do something that you don't enjoy, because it will literally suck the life out of your soul, and then you'll be old and bitter. And nobody wants to be around old and bitter people.
It's true.
You know, so...
Hey, Richard.
Hello, Richard. How are you? So don't be one of those old and bitter people.
Hi to you too.
But Rachel, in terms of your son... I did the course and his eye... Let me
thank you so much.
Oh, did you did the cert for alcohol and other drugs? How cool.
Big props.
That's awesome. So there's things that he will get out of it that he couldn't get, and you can't know what it's like until you get in there, but you'll either love it or you hate it. And there's probably times where he'll absolutely hate it, and then there'll be other times he'll be thinking,
he'll love it.
This is the most amazing thing I've ever been through.
Yeah, he'll look back and he'll have good days and he'll have bad days, and those bad days will be with 50, 60 other guys who are having bad days. So then somehow it just becomes a good day.
That's right. I did the Australian Rural Leadership Program, which is not exactly the same at all. Gave me a better understanding of what my... Karen, I'm going to PM you a pic of my nephew. Your son resembles him. Okay, cool. One last question. If you had one last spot in your NBA team, who would you pick, Jordan or LeBron?
Are you even kidding, my guy? Jordan?
Like, hello?
Russ.
Who is LeBron? No. That's kind of like how that question goes. Who's LeBron?
Come on.
Seriously?
Jordan's a goat.
He's the goat.
Get out of here, cuz.
And for anybody that doesn't know, that's greatest of all time. I was getting to the T, so that's the GOAT. So for all us ones who were like actually thinking, why are they calling him an animal? Turns out it's not an animal. It's actually like greatest of all time. So, is he going? I don't think he was going.
Oh, no, apparently he did.
One last question. Is that like a I'm gonna go now? So, hello, Miss Jolis Buddy. How are you? So like try that.
Yeah.
He'll come out of it with skills which will help him.
Yeah, and if it's his, that's obviously a lane that he wants to explore. Let him go in that lane and stay in that lane until he doesn't want to be in that lane anymore. Like there's some things you just can't get.
That's right. Else. And I'll give you an example. Like this is a real life example of how that whole thinking things through, because you need to be able to do that. So the other night the big fella was sick, right? And because his kidney function is not well. Oh, see ya. And so he wasn't well. So he woke up in the middle of the night throwing up, and he was very unwell. And I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to die. So I was there thinking, oh my God, he's going to die. And I'm planning his funeral while he's still being sick, mind you. And then turned out he went to bed, and then he didn't die, which is great. So got up the next morning, and I was saying to son, oh my God, your father was so unwell and stuff. And he was like, why? And I was like, oh, well, I thought his kidney failed. And then I was thinking, oh my God, if his kidney fails, and then what he's going to do? And son's like, well, we'll just chuck him in the car and take him to the hospital and put him on a machine, and his kidney will start to function with the machine until they get him a new one. Oh, okay, like, I didn't think of that at like 3 a.m. in the morning. But when I told him, like, oh my God and stuff, he was just like, boom, 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 this is what we'll do. Like, that whole planning, I was going, oh my God, he's going to die and he's going to be a pallbearer and like, where's the service and stuff. And he's going, we just take him to the hospital. Just chuck him in. Like, it'll be okay. So that level of thinking is something that you learn in there, that unless you're put in situations where you learn that outside of it, you generally don't get. Yeah. And so that's something that he didn't have before he went in, because he had to learn to think like that and strategically plan stuff out that whole 3 steps ahead. So that's just one example of that I see with him, where he goes, oh, okay. So perspective is everything. Absolutely, 100%. Candace. So, yeah.
Very, very much so.
So I just spent a weekend with an awesome guy in Abaco Beach. He's ex-army. Oh, awesome. That is so cool.
That's awesome.
Candace says hello, Eldon.
Hey Candace, how are you doing?
So yes, so that's what that is. Rachel, you need to be making me a handbag. You had no time to be.
Switch on, Rachel.
I know. You should see the handbag she makes. Oh my God, it's so amazing. So yeah, so that's. Anything else you want to add?
No, like there's. I'm sure we could talk about.
We could talk about it for hours.
For hours.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. I'm better to roll off questions.
Right. Okay.
I'm heaps more.
So while we're waiting for questions, right, I need to tell you that, like, can you see this thing on my neck here? There's a story about this. I'll have to tell you. So, probably about 5 years ago, right, I ended up with this thing, and it was pretty much the same as that. Like, can you see it? It's in a triangle. I'll tell you a story. And so it was here, and I woke up one day and it was there. I tried cortisone. I tried all these kinds of different creams and stuff. It's not a love bite. Oh, you're so 1970. You hussy. And so, it was this big, like, scratchy thing. It was just, it looked like something was eating my neck. It was horrid. So I tried all sorts of creams and stuff like that. One day it was there, and then it was there for like 3 months. It's not a love bite. True God, you fellas. Carly, do you know what a love bite is? Like, seriously. So, like, it was there, and then one day I woke up and it was gone. Like, I mean gone. Like, nothing. So, about a week ago, this came up on my neck, right? And I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually a triangle. Like, it's in the shape of a triangle. And so, what I'm thinking is, right, because I'm sure it's just some kind of eczema thing or something, but because it's in the shape of a triangle, true God, this is my thinking, is that there is 7, because 7's an important number, there are 7 wise women in an intergalactic circle who have sat there like the Devil's Triangle. No, not like the Devil's Triangle. Triangles are a good thing. We're going with wisdom. Don't devils? That makes me scared. I'm scared of stuff. No, happy unicorns and rainbows. There are 7 women sitting in an intergalactic circle out there, and they are sharing the wisdom that goes with the ages of intergalacticness. And so they have decided that they are going to share, not Illuminati, they are going to share their wisdom from the galaxies with somebody on Earth, and I have the triangle, so therefore they are sharing and showering sacred geometry. I know, right? Candace. So they are sharing that with me. So all of the things that I speak are wise because they're coming from an intergalactic wise circle of women, wise women, feminine beings who are sharing that energy and information with me. Hello, Miss Lani. They're sharing that with me, and I have the markings of the wise woman being able to channel the intergalactic wisdom of the 7 wise beings. There you go. Isn't that? I love that story. Does that make anybody else's heart smile? Do you love that story? I didn't tell him that story, so that's the first that he's actually heard of it.
We have a question. Thank God for that. Carly, thank you very much.
We had what
was the hardest part?
What was the hardest part in being in the marriage? She's misspelled, but that's okay.
Thank you for that.
I really liked my intergalactic story. Does anybody else like my intergalactic story? Can you not see how the wisdom?
Anyways, question then. Hardest part about being in the military, I would have to say, that I couldn't really, like, you can, but I guess relationships, it took a toll. Being in the army life, like, it took a lot on all relationships, partner, mum and dad, friends, as well as extended family. So,
Thanks, Corinne. Appreciate it. Fantastic story. See, my sister girl there, right there.
Shelley!
Miss Shelley! Hello!
Oh, big love, sissy. Yeah, I think just the... I didn't hit wait, my bad.
Yeah, good enough. It doesn't work. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so the relationships do take a big toll because you're out for possibly for 2 to 3 weeks. You come back, you restock and reorganize, and within that time you're getting geared up to go back out again. And if it's a big exercise during the year, it could be you're away for 6 weeks. So that definitely takes a toll on family. If you have a partner, you could be away for 3 or 4 months out the year. And unless, and which kind of comes back to, like with relationships with family and friends and stuff, unless they're close kin, it may be that you may not get leave to go to things such as funerals, such as weddings.
Miss Yola.
So you really, everything does take a toll, and some people just don't get it. So you really have to try, and you're fighting a losing battle, to the rest of relationships, and especially if you have a partner that doesn't really understand as much, or it's their first time going through being a partner in the army as well. You struggle.
Miss Shelley loves my salt and pepper. Well, thank you. I'm just all grey, and I just had some red put in the front because, you know, need a little bit of colour. But now I'm thinking of going red all over. So, you know.
April, what was the biggest...
Oh.
Okay, we're getting mad, love.
What was the biggest challenge you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it? Oh, we're asking great questions. And thank you, Miss... Hang on a second. Thank you, Miss Glenda, because she's saying calling occupants of the interplanetary crafts. I know, right? Mate, this is an important question. That was an important comment. So what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it? I love that question.
A big thing.
Miss Carly had a great question too. Love the hair. Well, thank you. Miss Karen just jumped on. Love you, Miss Yola.
I guess it comes back to navigating relationships, because when I did settle down, it was her first time being in a partner to someone who was in the army. So I had to navigate her feelings as well as mine, as well as the army, which took my life. And yeah, that was a struggle. Like, there were some times that we really did struggle, but we kind of at the time we just worked through it and did the best that we could.
Excellent. And Miss Ours is asking, how did you make the connection to find the answer of the 7 wise women? It just came to me. I saw the triangle and I thought, I cannot have a triangle for no reason. Like, there has to be some kind of intergalactic wisdom that's formulating around me, and so I've gone with that. What are you doing?
No, I was just checking something.
Oh, can you see how? Oh my God, Eldine is watching. That's just freaky. Don't do that. So, oh, wait a minute, Eldine is watching. What are we doing here? So that's cool. So yeah, so they haven't actually told me anything yet, so I'm still waiting on that. But you know, like the channel is open, because sometimes I get completely off the topic. But sometimes I get, you know, the fax in your ears. You know, the fax machine noise. I get that in my ears. And so, what's the triangle have to do with the 7 women? Well, the 7 women ascend because I like 7.
Nothing.
And it does have it because 7 is a magic number in my world. And so the 7 women are sitting around 7 sisters, 7 days in the week. Like, the 7 is an important number. So the 7 are sitting around. Yeah, truly.
Really?
7. The 7 days. There were 7 days in a week.
7 days.
I know. I had to think there for a minute. God damn. So the 7 is important, and so you can't have 8 because nobody likes 8. Hi, cracked me up. So 7 is important. We're just rolling with it. Like, just go with it because...
Extremely amateur stuff, so just bear with us here.
I believe you. She believes me, see, because it's true.
She just right now.
No, it's not. So, like I'm telling you, there's some... Although they'd have to channel it in a particular way because I'm a very frightened person. I don't like the dark. I don't like ghosts. I don't like anything that's scary. I can't even listen to Thriller, the song, because it scares me. So you understand my level of scaredness. Oh, look, Miss April saved you again with another question. That's funny.
So we got 2 questions.
Yep.
April,
So
I'll
what-
answer you first.
What advice would you give to a couple, a newly couple, one partner being in the military?
You need to understand that you need to be okay with being number 2. Them being in the service will take up all the time, all their time, and sometimes it's gonna fall on birthdays. It's gonna fall on certain days when they're outfield or different things. But to the partner that is not in the military, just have that understanding. It's not because they don't love you or anything like that. It's just that this is...
Hey, Miss Roper, how are you?
Howdy. It's their job. It's their way of life that they're living, and that's who they are. That's their identity. It's not that they don't love you or anything. It's just try and find that common ground between that you have together. I think that's one of the big things that I took away, is having that understanding of me being in the army, having an understanding of, okay, she's out, she's navigating it just like I am. I had no idea, she had no idea, and we kind of had both had no idea, and kind of just worked on what we did know, and we just went roll with it.
Because one of the things that they weren't allowed to do was, while the year that they were, if they got a call, they'd have to go.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to go. Son was not allowed to go any more than 2 hours from Brisbane.
That's right.
So that having that understanding of where if they wanted to go somewhere else, that was more than 2 hours. There was a process, and so it wasn't just a why can't we get in the car and go. So simple things like that, having that understanding that if he's got to go and can't tell you where he's going, you got to be okay with the fact that he can't tell you. Now me, that would never work, because I'd be like, why can't you tell me? Just tell me a little bit. Just give me just a little bit. No, they're not allowed to. Like you just need to be okay with that. No, don't do it. So having that understanding that he's a military person first, and then
for some people, they're just brilliant, and at being the number 2, which is harder than being in the army or being in any of the services. Like they fight a battle just as much as the people who are in the army, but they just hold it down on the home front. So they're just as they're the real MVP, because they can go off in the army is all like the fun and at times, whereas being at home sometimes is lonely. It's hard, grindy work.
And Miss Carly, you're talking about maintaining relationship was certainly the hardest, particularly if you got kids. Like Son didn't have kids.
Thank you. I didn't have any kids. But
yep, that would be hard too.
They come back, and again, like, you may miss birthdays, may miss weddings, may miss all kinds of stuff, because the army comes first, and them being a kid, they don't understand. Like, they're just so super with joy when you come back from something, whereas it's not until they get a little bit older that they start to understand and start to realise things. So I hope that helps.
What strategy did you have in place to readjust to everyday life outside the military? Never.
Oh yeah, I kind of didn't. I kind of just stuck to what I know. I knew fitness. Like it took me a while, but going back to the things that I could control, which was fitness, my body, put on a little bit of weight from the outside, like being on the outside, but yeah, like just go back to the things you can control, and then from there, let go of what you can't, because you can't control it. So what's the point holding on to it?
Miss Oz asked, do you have any advice to give us regarding the 7 women? Believe that they're there and they're talking to you. Doesn't matter if anybody else doesn't believe it.
Do you have any more?
So Miss Yola says similar emotion and mentally challenges to mining, fly in, fly out families.
100%. So
And it's that whole, there's always someone that's going away. So even with the fly in, fly out worker, someone in the services, somebody has a job where they have to go away. For the people for the person who's going away, it's always completely different to the person who's staying at home. Because generally the person who's staying at home, hello Miss Terry Lee, the person who's staying at home, they are generally continuing on with their life. You know, kids going to school, kids going to sport. So that whole routine continues to happen, whereas the person who's away, whether they are in the military or wherever, they're the ones who are away from that, and then they have to come back and try to fit into that. And it can be really challenging. And so that whole, and I think it's across the board, that communication to say, so this is how I'm feeling. You know, getting excited because mum and dad's coming home in 3 days and then 2 days. And so then you're trying to then figure out how they're going to fit back into it, because dad has a certain way of doing things and mum has a certain way of doing things, and then it changes when they're together, and then when it goes again, you know, usually when dad's away, if he's gone, you know, mum gets the kids to, yep, or the house might be done a certain way, and then dad will come home and he does it different, so he'll be like, oh, so we do it this way. But that's not how we do it, because mum does it the other way. And then sometimes dad can be like, oh, so I don't even fit here. And so just being able to have those conversations to go, how do we make this work, would be the same. But absolutely.
100%.
Will be challenging 100%. To switch off. And that's the whole thing.
They don't.
You don't.
Like their brain, especially like emergency services, they're on call 24/7, so they don't switch off. Come back home, they may wind down a little bit, but if they get that call up, their head's still ticking. It takes a lot longer, and yeah, like emergency services. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
Next question from
Miss Shelley.
What cultural? Good question. What cultural conflicts, if any, did you face in the army as an Indigenous man? So I was one of three. Three blackfellas in my whole unit. So culturally, they didn't get it. So
we're not talking. See how he goes? He asks if we're talking nonsense. Excuse me, Brian. We're talking to Miss Shelley because she's on
she
here.
asked a question. Shelley.
You're Shelley.
No.
Like Shelley.
Oh,
So yeah, ignore.
Yeah, we just did.
Miss Shelley, Brian said hello, baby girl.
love you, miss you.
And can you not send her your own message? You're interrupting our live. Why don't you come and say hello? Oh, this is like a family affair now.
For God's sake.
You have to duck so people can see you. So there's Miss Shelley. So you can say hello.
Hey, baby.
So, see, Miss Shelley there. Brian, there you go. Hello, lover. Okay, really?
She says it all the time.
Okay.
Love you. See ya.
Not that I'm jealous, but just whatever works for you. So,
Question. Yes,
that was my next question. Kelly. Who's Kelly?
She hasn't said Shelley.
Oh, Shelley, right. So what?
So they didn't get sorry business. They didn't get the fact that the grandmother is like an extension of the mother and things like that. There was actually a really good question, but they just didn't get a lot of things. So as much as I would try and educate to things like sorry business, sorry day, all those things that we hold big and dear to our heart, they understood it to an extent, but they were just like, okay, that's cool, but again, the army comes first. So I had a really hard time navigating it for things like funerals, when it wouldn't just be like 1 or 2 days. You'd go back, you'd spend time with family, you'd console them first, then you would deal with your stuff, whereas it's always the army. Then sometimes you could go to and get that leave approved to go. If it's normally like big family members, then yeah, for sure. But sometimes you just got to deal with the fact that they just don't get it.
What did it teach you about your identity?
What did it teach me about my identity
As a black man.
as a black man is that to just walk firm in my own shoes, Like, and at some points, being in there, I just didn't fit. So I was like, okay, I need to hold firm in myself and understand that sometimes in life I may not fit, and it's only a here and now type of thing, and that it's not going to be forever. So whether that's in a different part of the army, different part of the services, just hold firm and strong in what I believe. If people try and push their beliefs and all other stuff on me, I have the choice to take that on, and if it works for me, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome. I can just choose to be like, that's cool, that's you and your own thing, whereas that's just not for me.
And I guess for him, and I'm only saying it from what I saw on the outside, is that when he was going through those challenges, it was really about him embedding in and knowing who he was and where he came from, and that his colour was who he is on the inside, even though sometimes on the outside the army didn't care about the fact that he was a black man. He was a soldier first and foremost. And so how's the PhD going, by the way? Your boy is solid. Isn't he just precious? I just love him.
Thank you.
Mate, don't even say it. So for him, a lot of times he just had to like bunker in with that and just know. And I don't know, and I'm only just throwing it out there, but I would think that for some people who were still fairly new on their journey and finding out their history, that could be a huge challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a son was strong in that, and it was still a challenge for him. So.
Yeah, I knew where I come from. I knew, like, my family, and I knew that, like, my family, my culture, my heritage, and all that type of stuff. Like, I can trace it back, and I was able to hold firm in that throughout.
Cool. So we have 2 questions. I will go back. So I will get you to Miss April in a minute. Miss Carly asks, "How's the PhD going?" I got ethical approval. That was so exciting. Yay! So now I can start questions. Confirmation's coming up. And
also, thank you for saying that I'm solid.
And I did that. Move on now. It's not all about you. So that was pretty exciting. So I've got all my ladies lined up that I'm going to have a conversation with. I'm still writing my confirmation document, which I just want to throw out the window, set on fire, and never have to look at it again, because I just literally want to claw my face off because it's just not going. But I constantly go back and look at your document because it helps me to stay sane, and it is my life raft to help me get there. So I'll probably talk to you about that later on this week if we can. So Miss April asks, "What's your thoughts on the Defence Reconciliation Action Plan?
I was there, the D-Rap.
As a soldier, how does this impact your role, and do you see any changes because of it?" Very pretty document, I can tell you. He's perfect. Oh, he's a bit precious. He's a bit precious.
Let's go back to the question.
Good night, Miss Rachel. Talk to me this week because I want one of those bags.
Tara, what's up? Big love. Yeah, go back to the question from April.
So the Defence Reconciliation Action Plan, and as a soldier, does it impact your role? Does it do anything for soldiers?
It won't impact soldiers now. Down the line, it may, but it's always gonna be Army first, and as much as culture for us is a really big deal, culture and the defence of Australia, like it's that's just always gonna be their first priority, first and foremost, which 100% it should be. But there are definitely units that are more like Indigenous base up in the top end. If you go back a lot of the history, like we had a lot to do with defending the country and still do. So I think definitely down the line it will make a bigger impact, but we'll have to just wait and see.
Miss April, yes you are, and I will be contacting you this week because we will need to have a conversation about that. I guess from the because I've got the D-Rap here somewhere. I have my own little copy.
I was there, but I forgot.
Yeah, good on you. It's a very pretty document. If it gets implemented from the bottom up and the top down, it can make a huge difference. I still think, like most, this is just my opinion, of course. I think, like most reconciliation action plans, they come with the best of intentions, but the implementation of it and the carrying through of what looks really pretty on paper, and then what does that look like in real life, that can be a bit of a separation, and particularly looking at who's driving it. So is it people who are driving it for the purpose of change, or is it somebody driving it so that they can tick a box to go, so when I get grilled by, good night, Miss Glenda.
Good night.
Oh, you don't need beauty sleep. Look how lovely you are. This is a pretty thick permafrost in the middle of... What? There is a pretty thick permafrost in middle management in defence, though, which impacts their ability to change.
Yeah.
Like, what does permafrost even mean?
I don't know what that means.
Like, can we Google that, because we need to have words that we understand, because that's just like a really big thing. But hello, Miss Christy, I love you. There's a pretty in the middle, which impacts their ability to change, and it can be tough because
100%.
defence is like 7,000 Titanics all in one, and when you think about trying to spin the Titanic, that in itself is really tough. So trying to spin 7,000 Titanics is really tough, because that whole mentality of the way defence is done is now looking to shift. And so some things that like what does permafrost mean?
Permafrost is a ground that remains completely frozen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking it meant something else, but absolutely, because they're used to doing things a certain way, and then to have somebody come in and say you can't do it that way, it needs to be done another way, they'd be like, you don't tell me. Who do you think you are? I've always done it this way.
If it does change, at what cost? So are you, by doing things a certain way, are you lowering the standards? Are you upping the standards? Obviously, there's that trial and error, but you have people who've been pretty jaded for a long time, who get up to senior management roles, and that's where the word of the night, permafrost, comes in.
Permafrost. I love that word. We need to be able to put that.
Word of the night.
We need to have a word of the night. That's going to be it, and we need to put that in like several sentences. Love you guys. Love you too. Because permafrost is just make it sound really smart. Right? That's right.
Every chance I get.
Absolutely, because I'm feeling a bit of a permafrost right here. Okay, context? No. Okay. There's a permafrost outside. Could that work? Because it's cold out there? No? Okay, I don't know.
Remains completely frozen.
Yeah, use it. I know, right? We need to use this word, because we come on here to share information with you, and you teach us a new word. I feel like I'm back in like play school, you know, when they go, the word of the week is permafrost, which is really cool. You both should make this a regular thing. I know, right? How fun would it be? Like, we should do it every day.
Maybe.
Because I tell you what, it took some time to get here.
Carly, give us a question.
Question. So yes, so that's it. So hopefully that answers the questions that you've asked.
Maybe a little bit vague.
Reconciliation action plans are a really interesting beast, because I think when they first started, they were all about, you know, people having the right thing, and now it's all about, in some places, let's be real, some are doing a really great job. Some places are like, oh, really? Do we have to do a reconciliation action plan? Okay, fine. I don't understand reconciliation action plan groups that have no Indigenous people in them or on them. That to me makes no sense, because you need the input of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, I would think, if you're going to have people who don't understand that. Like, that to me makes that like a little bit weird. But there are departments who only have, and even in defence, I know some areas are pushing stuff.
Yeah.
You just go, have you talked to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people? Well, no.
Navy has a lot of, Navy has like dances and stuff like that. I believe they're at the forefront.
Yeah, Miss Tina, she's doing amazing stuff.
Yeah, but the Army's always been pretty stubborn and slow to to change it. So,
Shelley says, why people writing black policy wondering why it doesn't work. And I think people have, like, the best of intentions. I think I couldn't. That's like me writing policy for a male. Like, I can go, I wonder what it's like to be male. I can see that they're a bit different. They have different bits than us. Their minds think differently than us. They can have a whole sentence with 3 words in it. So they're different. So I could go, oh, okay, so I'll write policy for a male. That generally is missing for a man to then go, oh, actually, we completely missed the mark. And how often do we do that? We have, policy here in the government in Canberra. Abbott, the Minister for Women, that worked out well. I know, right? He was the best Minister for Women because he was tapping into his feminine side, and so it was flowing through him clearly. I don't know. Somebody had a brain fart that day when they was like, right, let's get Uncle Tony in there because he can look after us women, right?
Of course.
Absolutely. So where was I going with that? So yeah, so it just doesn't work. So you need to talk to people, but it's exactly the same as any. Like, it just makes a whole lot of sense. If you need to have people involved in that stuff that are impacted by it. It just makes good sense. You know, you don't make policy for people in the arts without having people in the arts involved in that conversation about policy around the art. I don't know about art. Like, I can colour in, but that's about as artsy as I get. But for me if I was to write policy for art and have no consultation with people in the arts, that would be insane. But yet it does. Did you experience racism in the military? Miss Carly asked.
Yes, I did at times. It's very much there. It's disguised as jokes, and you have to have a tough skin, and then be able to fire back. Like, it's a really weird place because you can have that friendly joke between your mates, but if they cross that line, you pull them up quick, and then understand like that's where the line is, and you can go back and forward with each other. But yeah, to say that it's not there, it's 100% definitely a lie. But I was strong in it. There was some times, just like anywhere.
Sounds like public casual racism.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing though, because it is casual racism, but it's that with us it was that friendly banter, because you needed to make the best of a worse situation, because there were times where it was really, really, really bad, and the only way was to take shots at each other, but have that strong skin where you could take the shot and then fire back. It's really weird.
But the thing is that there are also comments and stuff about other nationalities as well, and genders and stuff like that. So I want to support the black person, but only if they stay in their box.
To some extent, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there are definitely some roles that are tokenistic, but if you're good at your job, they can't stop you. Like, if you're really that good, it's that performance-based punishment that you're just.
I'm plugging it in because I don't know how. No, it's the other side. Sorry, inside. I just don't want it to go flat, because then all of our fans would miss us and this entertainment that's happening here, and that would just be like tragic, wouldn't it? So is there any more questions?
Yeah,
like, we could talk for hours. But we won't subject you to it, although there are 9 people on. So thank you so much for sticking around and listening to us and sharing. This has been just phenomenal. Really interested to know if you would like us to cover other topics. Miss Antonia, well, hello there. How are you? I need to message you back, because I said I love you and yes, and then next minute.
I'm staying in Canberra for now, but it's literally you know what I'm like. It could change tomorrow.
Miss
But
Joanna
come
around,
see you.
hello.
We'll do lunch or something, coffee now that we can go out.
Can you do? Are you allowed then? Are you allowed to do that? I don't know. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
No, I think you can.
Don't
Don't
tell
tell anyone we're doing it on a Facebook Live. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so like if you're interested in finding out about other stuff, please
Let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Write us a post. Inbox her. Don't inbox me because I probably won't write back to you. But yeah, hit us up with questions. Anything that you want us to cover. By all means, we'll try our best to accommodate you all.
Yep, because I know a little bit about trauma. Oh, hello, Mr. Jago. How are you? So I know a little bit about trauma, a little bit about healing. What do I know about? Obviously, I'm female, so I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about the 7 wise women intergalactically marking me as the wise elder person. Actually, no, I'm not an elder. I'm a wise. What do they call? I'm so not elder. I'll be elderly. I don't know about elder, but oh, mate, I'm so not. So you need to start respecting me if that's the case. So you need to be like respecting me. Yep, I'm telling you right now. That's it. Go and give me some chocolate now. I'll be doing that. Make me a cup of tea, son. Son, make me a cup of tea. So yeah, so if you want us to, or just want to join in and listen to us,
join in,
chat and banter and talk about 7 galactic wise women and army and
if people want to jump on too and whatnot.
Because we can do that, can't you? Now bring people on and stuff. So we should do. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, don't muck up. Just
invite you as well.
Oh, see, there you go. Like, just you don't even know how to do it, and you'll ruin it, and then you'll break it again like you did last time, which is not even helpful. You broke it because you felt that this thing fell over, and then you couldn't find it, and then we couldn't get back, and it was just like that was you. Oh, you so did it. Oh, I swear you did. It was not me. We don't even know we didn't even go back and watch it, so we don't even know if there's like this big gap in between where people are going, where the hell did they go? What's going on? Or whatever. Right. Yes. So thank you for watching. Miss Donna, hello.
We're just wrapping it up.
Oh, thank you. We're going to give you a wave because you showed up and we appreciate it. So if you're interested in stop, Eldine, don't touch anything. I know, right? You're going to be touching stuff all the time. Like, there's buttons here. What does this mean? Get away from me. Get away.
I'll bust you up.
Oh, is that Miss Asamina? Stop it.
I'll bust you.
Oh, I love her.
She thinks she's real slick, too.
So, thank you for tonight. Miss Carly, thank you for watching. I love the fireside chat with you and Aunt, and so I appreciate you taking the time listening to us share this vital information or just rambling, one of the, depending on how you look at it. Hopefully, between the information that we've shared, we've taken it intergalactically and brought it back. Bring it back.
Wrap it up.
No, what was the thing? What's the word we need to permafrost?
Permafrost.
We need to be able to bring I can't even say it. Permafrost into a conversation sentence before we go, because that's like their thing. So we've taken it intergalactically and then brought it back. And then we've covered the army, we've covered reconciliation action plans, we've covered racism, we've covered relationships. I love you guys. I miss you too. We'll be home. Yeah, we're coming home for a visit soon. So we'll be able to catch up. You'll have to come for a barbecue. You will be expected to come for a barbecue. Don't make me go around there.
Go around and see your grandmother.
And then we will...
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Jessica. We will... let you know when we're coming back home. Yep. So we've covered quite a few things. Like I said, we do know a little bit about a little bit. Son's a guy, he's a younger guy. I'm a little bit older. Little bit. Happy to talk about some stuff. Like I said, I know a little bit of stuff about a little bit of stuff. Trauma, healing, anxiety, addiction, adverse childhood experiences, depression.
Happy to speak on whatever people want to speak on.
But if you have questions and stuff, or we can just come back on next time and we'll just start talking, and we'll just kind of like wing it and have a conversation and hopefully share some stuff.
Put some stuff in the hat and then pull it out and see how it goes.
Oh my God, how fun would that be if we just like put it in a hat? So if you like, let us know something, we put it in a hat and we put, see, not just a pretty face.
Shelley giving us
Oh.
big likes.
There you go, Miss Shelley, sharing the love with us. Love, Miss Shelley.
Alright, let's wrap this thing up.
So you keep saying wrap it up, but I like
telling you wrap it up.
talking. Yeah. You just.
I understand you like talking.
Well, you did it most of the talking tonight. I don't even know why you're saying I'm doing. You so did. If we did like a poll, it would be like 80-20 your way. Because I didn't do much talking at
That's
all.
definitely
Like that.
right.
So, see how it goes. See what I put up with. Where is the respect? I'm Nellie Nelda.
Right.
Go and make me a cup of tea. I can't have coffee. I don't drink tea. I can't have coffee because it's too late at night. You know, I'm getting old now. I can't have a cup of coffee after 5 o'clock because it'll keep me awake all night. Chocolate has caffeine in it, but I'm not even going to go there with that logic because don't even. Like, just throw that out. Throw that out. So, we're going to wrap it up. Loving yous. Yeah, make your mum some tea. Listen there. Listen, Shelley.
You're home.
Love you.
Love you, sissy. I'll
All
message
right.
you soon.
Take care. Oh, Jeff,
Jeff's back. Just
you're
at the
back,
end there.
brother.
Too
We
late
just
now.
we missed it. See, you left
Wrapping it
us.
up. Wrapping
Left
it
us.
up.
Come back. What's like we've gone through detachment. Like we're sad. Go on, boy. I know, right?
Man,
Tell
I'll
him.
bust
You
you.
tell him. Oh, no respect for his mother. I tell you. Like says.
No, big love to you guys.
Oh, love you. See you. Bye.
Not us.